Hey, what is up? I wanted to talk about why I think the big Anthem negative influencers should truly and deeply be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed. Let's go over the issues that the game has. We got crashes, loading screens, server disconnects, and loot. And these are all things that are pretty much fixable issues, all of them fixable issues, and included with every online game you've ever played. Crashes, normal. This happens on any game. I mean, the one thing that sucked big time sucked on PS4 is it was shutting consoles down. Not everybody's. I had seen plenty of people that were actually sharing their experience that they didn't ever have a shutdown on their PS4. I will say this: I've had several of my games shut down my PS4. Rocket League has shut down my PS4. Red Dead Redemption 2 has shut down my PS4 within like the first 2 days of playing it. I forget what else. I've had several games. It doesn't happen often. It happens like maybe twice a year at the most, right? So far, I mean, it might have been a few more times, but it's so rare. It's really rare for a game to just randomly shut the PS4 down. It happens. Crashes. What game doesn't crash at some point, man? Server disconnects. An online game. Who didn't expect server disconnects at launch? Loading times. Yes, loading times do suck. Dude, any game I play, loading screens drive me friggin' nuts. The thing about it here is it's normal. Like everything that loads makes sense except for the Forge. I don't understand why the Forge needs a loading screen, but I imagine one day we'll see a fix on that. If you don't know, the Forge is your inventory, so it's like every time you open and close your inventory, you have to have a loading screen. But it's really short. It's a short one. But yeah, that's the only one that doesn't make any real sense. The others are for like loading into the world and stuff like that, which is, let's see. I have a list of games with long loading screens that drive me nuts: God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, The Last of Us, World of Warcraft, and probably 100 other games I could name, also including the Division 2. Anybody died in the Division 2? All these people like, oh, the Division 2 is so much better. That has pretty much the same exact issues that Anthem has, other than loot. And I'll get into loot. But yeah, so I mean, all this stuff is normal stuff. It's very normal, and it's people just blowing all this out of proportion by the biggest amount I've ever seen anything be blown out of proportion. And that's personally. I'm sure somebody has seen this kind of ridiculous stuff happen with other things, but for me, this is the biggest, most ridiculous amount of hate I've ever seen. That it's just nonsense. Loot has been an issue, except for, here's the thing, most complaints. Now, if you see this on the internet, if you've seen it, a lot of people will act like and say that there's not enough good loot, which is just a flat out lie. There's so much loot in the game. There's a ridiculous amount of loot in the game, and there's some really cool stuff. The upgrades are amazing. These really cool passive effects and all that. And where the loot becomes an issue is in the high-end game, and the later super high-end game grindy part, right? And that was broken. It was fixed yesterday in a server-side patch. Excuse me. But it still needs work. It does need work. But it is noticeably better. It was instantly noticeably better for Grandmaster 2 and Grandmaster 3. Grandmaster 1 has not been an issue, really, from what I've seen. And everybody's been farming that, saying there's no reason to farm 2 or 3. So with the patch, it did fix. I know it fixed 2. I haven't played 3 because I don't have the gear to do 3. But yeah, so that was addressed. It does need more work. But this is a thing that really pisses me off, is the people complaining about the loot. Because every game, no matter what loot or game you play, there's always a point. There's always an item cap. And the only thing that you're farming after you have like some of the best gear in the game is a rare upgrade. I love Diablo 3. I love Diablo games. What else? Destiny 2. I love Destiny 2. I don't play it super hardcore. But, once you reach that high power level, you're going to be trashing a lot of items. You're going to trash hundreds upon probably thousands of items before getting an upgrade. This is normal. And people are talking about how there's no good loot in Anthem, which is it's nonsense. Again, like I will say that there was an issue with loot for the higher difficulties, the end game, and it made it like you could. It's fun playing that end game. The challenge that it adds and having to actually work as a team is very cool compared to earlier content where You can play as a team, but it's easy enough to solo. You know, but yeah. So the complaints here are just blown out of proportion, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting how far it's gone, how much hate is out there, and it's nonsensical. It is not. There's no sense to it. All the complaints are bullcrap. This is just from stupid people, and I'm gonna say that, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it because they should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed. IGN, GameSpot, Angry Joe, Jim Sterling, Upper Echelon. I don't know. I forget. Everybody, because that's how it's been. Everybody is on this hate train of just nonsense, and I think part of why they don't seem to realize the influence they have, the power they have, and they don't deserve it. They do not deserve it, especially after this. Like, I have zero respect for these people. A lot of them that I used to watch a lot of videos from, and sometimes agree with, but now I don't even watch. I don't even want to watch or read their stuff ever again. And I've already been avoiding IGN and GameSpot a lot. I've started avoiding sites which I didn't used to, and now it's YouTubers, and it's not. I have no respect for them after this. None. Not even the tiniest bit. You know, and I'll, you know, of course, give them a chance if I see something I'm interested in, but they don't deserve the power they have. They don't deserve the influence they have. They don't deserve the position they're in when they're doing this. When they can blow this completely out of proportion compared to every other game that they praise. Think about like Skyrim, Fallout series, games that are just super bugged, super broken, that are praised for being the most perfect, amazing games, you know, and a lot of other stuff. And I'm not saying those games are bad. I'm not. I've played plenty of games that have issues that I love, you know, because I can put up with those issues. The game, aside from the issues, the game is good enough to enjoy and have fun. And Anthem is one of those. And I'm not the only one, but we're a minority as far as our voice goes. I've been a part of a community on Twitter. I call it a community because it's a bunch of people that are sharing their love for the game. So I just think of it as a community of players because that's what it is. Yeah, Anthem game on Twitter. A lot of people loving it. But the major influencers are the ones that have ruined a lot of chances here. And this is really crappy because they're convincing people that probably would love it not to even try it. I saw a player tweet out the other day. He didn't even want to play it anymore because of all the hate that's all over the internet. He loved the game. He said, I love Anthem, but all this hate everywhere just makes me not want to play it. And to me, I'm just like, this is my problem. This is the biggest reason why I think that these influencers should be ashamed. This is the biggest reason, okay? Because personally, I've never been easily influenced. Never. I didn't know this. My mom used to tell me this stuff when I was young. You know, how I'd be like a rebel, and I didn't know what the hell she meant because I wasn't trying to rebel. I wasn't like trying to. I think for myself, naturally, it's not something, you know. So to me, when I see other people easily influenced, I'm like, why? But no, people flock to this stuff. They're flocking. There's thousands of people flocking to the hate that haven't even played the game. And they back him up and they start saying the Division 2 is so much better. They haven't played that either. This is why those people should be ashamed, and they don't deserve the power they have. They don't deserve it. You can't do this. You can't pick apart all the flaws, the minor flaws that are. There might be a lot of them, and there's actually, like, you know, realistically a few flaws. A few. They're horrible flaws and they suck. But these little flaws that are fixable, and you pick them apart, and that's all you talk about. That's all you do. You trash it. You completely leave out all the amazing stuff that's in Anthem. Everything, the freaking combat, the mechanics, everything, the story that's actually there. People trash on the story because they didn't pay any damn attention. I get it. Cinematics-wise, the story is not all there, cinematics-wise. But there's a world, there's a universe, there's the lore. Everything is there. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But they pick apart all the things that are fixable, and break it down like it's trash. And it's bullshit, man. No, you do not deserve the power that you have. They're not watching this. I don't know why I said it like that, but they don't deserve the power that they have. You know, and that's why it's actually a part. Like ever since I started playing this game, and I just was like, wow, I'm blown away. I think it's amazing. I've been able to play. I mean, I've had a couple server disconnects. I've lost loot from crashes a couple times. A couple times out of my like 100 hours played, I've lost like a stack of loot, which is easily obtainable again. So, but yeah, it sucks when it happens. It's like, damn, I had so much good loot and then it's all gone because of a crash. Yes, that sucks. Yes, for sure. But one of the biggest reasons I've like on Twitter, I've been going nuts on this game. I've been sharing my love. I've been retweeting people. I've been replying to people that are loving the game, sharing their screenshots and their just little comments of like, we love this game, thank you so much, you know, stuff like that. My Twitter feed is just loaded. That is the first time ever since I've been on Twitter. I've been on Twitter for a long time, that I've had a single game like just dominate my feed for like almost going on 2 weeks now, I guess, straight. And it's because I normally I wouldn't even care, but I love the game. I think it's amazing. But and the reason that I'm doing that is because people need to know this is not a shitty game. I feel like people need to know. And but yeah, so it's sad to see. It's sad to see. I mean, like the biggest complaint that I can agree with is the loot and endgame needs a fix. It just got one, which was noticeable, but it's still not where it needs to be. I could talk about that. I could give you know, a suggestion on how to fix that. Really easy, you know. But there are issues with the game. There was the whole, you know, there's still a thing where it's gonna be fixed, you know. But people are talking about like, oh, if you use level 1 weapon, you're so much better. Like, that's now a lot of people will say that's not an exploit, and I wouldn't label it as an exploit. That's a mechanic in the game that got messed up, right? That's all. It was. I think that was really just an oversight or something. Now, some people compared it saying, well, this helps low level players play with the high level players. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because they shouldn't be doing that anyways, right? You don't do that. The whole point of any game that has progression is to progress through it. It's not to just be like level 1 and be playing level 30 content. You know, that's just not normal, right? So I think people were just using that as a defense kind of a thing, which, and it could have been true. Maybe that was something they thought about, but it just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm like, no, that's not something you do. But yeah, so just little fixable issues that you'll see in any game. And I thought I made a video before this one, but apparently I had not hit the record button. I sat here for like 40 minutes talking about this, and I guess it kind of helped because it helped me come down a little from the rage. But I really believe all these big negative influencers should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of themselves. They won't be. They should be. They do not deserve their power at all, especially after this, especially after seeing this. I've seen a lot of similar nonsense, never been as bad as this. Fallout 76, I don't know. I didn't play the game, so I don't know how badly it deserves that. I'm assuming it might, but I don't care. You know, I'm not jumping on that hate train. I'm not like, I mean, you're with me, right? Like, you don't understand people that just jump on hate wagons just to flock to like the cool kids. I get it though. I mean, you know, I was a kid too. I remember peer pressure, but I've never really been like that. I know that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I had another thing on my mind real quick I wanted to say before I go, because it just popped into my head when I was thinking about that. Damn it. But yeah, the game is. Oh yeah, well, like for me, I mean, I sometimes I can understand what I think was a lot of these influencers, a lot of these people, all these reviewers that just trash this game. I believe that they rushed through it, even if they played lots of hours. Here's the thing, all right. Now I saw a YouTuber talk about I can't remember which one it was, big one, talking about how he played this game for 50 hours, maybe a little more than 50 hours. And he was just trashing on it. This game is not good. It's not good. And this is the thing. It doesn't matter how many hours they put into it because let's come with me on this little story. I believe they rushed through it. That these people rushed to the end game. They leveled as fast as they possibly could. They got to the end game. They played the end game. A lot of the end game. They farmed loot. So they put a lot of hours into farming loot and playing the end game. But they completely missed the world and the story in between. They just missed it. They didn't care. They didn't allow themselves to get into the game and have fun. They rushed to the end so that they could go review the end game and go review the game as a whole that they experienced, which would be the issues, which would be the crashes, the load times, you know, especially when they're in a rush to get to the end game and just grind the end game. Those loading screens are going to stand out more. They're there and they suck, but like I said, it's normal stuff. And hopefully they do get fixed. I mean, I would like to see the loading screens be less and less, and you know, stuff like that. But it's nothing to blow out of proportion. That's for sure. Yeah. So I think they all, especially having read having read so many reviews and watched so many of these videos, there isn't a single one of them, except for the people that are kind of like, except for the few good reviews from smaller sites. There are smaller sites that, of course, agree with others and stuff. But everything that I read, when it came to like the big major sites and watched on the big YouTubers, it was like every one of them just rushed to endgame and played the endgame and then bitched about all the little things, the little fixable things. That's what happened. I played this game, I think it was like 30 hours before I completed it, around the 30-hour mark, before I completed the campaign. And I remember when I first saw this game coming and I saw them, they said, we're going to have 3 strongholds. And I was like, that's not going to be enough. No. Especially for a game that's, you know, that you know is supposed to be end game, right? That you know that's supposed to be a grind, a continuing kind of a game. I was like, 3 strongholds. I laughed at them. And I still thought the game looked amazing. But I laughed at that. I was like, there's no way. But it turns out that, you know, after my 30 hours, I didn't need an end game. I loved it. Dude, it's such a great experience. And I don't want to get into... I wasn't going to make this a review, but the game is amazing. The javelins, each different multiple play styles for each of the 4 javelins. And apparently they're adding more javelins later in the future. If this game survives. If this survives. The nonsensical hate PR out there. The hate wagon. The flock of sheep that just jump on the bandwagon. The hate wagon. They just jump on it. They don't even know what they're saying. They don't even realize, like, oh yeah, we're cool because we're saying it sucks. Oh, look at the load screens. Oh. Turn around. Look at The Last of Us. Grand Theft Auto 5. Again. Red Dead Redemption 2. God of War. You know, I love God of War. I'm not trashing these games. I'm not putting them down. I'm not saying those are bad games. I'm talking about the loading screens. The Division 2. No, man. No, it's not fair what's happened to Anthem. It's not fair. And I wouldn't be... I'm not just a fanboy. Alright? That's what I'll get labeled as. I don't care. I don't care. Call me a fanboy. I'm not one. Call me one. That's never been an insult I've even understood anyways. People are stupid. Like, I get it. The fanboy apparently is someone that just loves something blindly or whatever. And that's just not the case. I don't know. I think fanboy should not even be an insult that's thrown out, but it is, and you know, whatever. I'd rather be a fanboy than a sheep. I tell you what, I'd rather be a fanboy than a sheep. So, anyways, I probably did have more stuff to say that I could, just a few little things I could have thrown in. I know the previous video that I tried to do without hitting the record button was much longer, so much longer. Anyways. Give Anthem a chance. That's my biggest thing is just these influencers that rush through the game and didn't actually really sit down to enjoy it and take their time and just play it and enjoy something special. Anthem is something special. It really is. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.